Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
A whale just received 100 million XRP, and a crypto media outlet is speculating a bit about where it's going. I'll share the specifics in a moment, but the thinking is it's going to be dispersed to a lot of very large private XRP holders, as previous account history has shown this behavior. And so it's like, this is basically what we're going through right now. It's the calm before the storm. And sorry to break to you folks, but this is mostly what it is to be investing in general, especially in crypto. Most of it is sideways price action and downward price action, followed by these incredible euphoric blow-off tops and parabolic movements to the upside. Sometimes it's the entire asset class, sometimes it's individual coins popping off, but that's what it is to invest. And it gets, for some people, to be too boring, and for some people, they just get too impatient. Why isn't my money doing something? Some other thing is going up somewhere else, this or that, as if you could time the market in such a way that that would matter. It's just a childish way of looking at things, but this is how people respond. And that's why it's worth knowing the people that make the biggest returns, the people that achieve life-changing wealth investing in crypto. They do have patience and they do understand market cycles, and they just sit there and wait while people are panic selling on those dips when things go down. They're just sit tight. That's, in a general sense, what's happening here. So anyway, I want to speak about that. Got an update on what happened with the Fed yesterday and how it impacted, or more accurately, didn't impact crypto prices. And also, I want to share with you, like, what's happening right now is what drove the last two rallies. So says a very popular chart analyst, Nicholas Merton. And also, should we expect the next big move to be alt season, or will Bitcoin lead first? Yeah, plenty to talk about. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this, XRP's at 77 cents. Bitcoin's at 40,687, market cap for the asset class 1.83 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 42.09%, which is about where it was yesterday when I made a video where I was talking about price and what we might reasonably expect from the Fed meeting, which did end up happening yesterday morning. And my best guess, and I'm not pretending like I knew any sort of incredibly high level of certainty exactly what might happen, but I just said, even if upon the news breaking you see a little bit of a move, is it going to be something that's either catastrophic or incredibly impressive to the positive? And I'm just sitting there thinking, probably not. In fact, most of the thinking behind this, it's just like, was that the Fed would increase interest rates 25 basis points, which is 0.25%, because historically for the last couple decades, when there has been a move, that's what it's been. And there had been hints recently that, based on inflation, the fact that that needs to be gotten in check, this is what was going to happen. And so here, I'll just go to this first, and then we'll get into the stuff about XRP, the 100 million XRP. I'll just be quick on this. I don't want to harp on this, but here's the headline from Yahoo Finance. Fed raises interest rates for the first time since 2018. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday raised short-term interest rates for the first time since 2018, as high inflation pushes the central bank to pull back on its extraordinary pandemic-era support. The U.S. Central Bank lifted its benchmark federal funds rate by 0.25% to a target range of between 0.25% and 0.5%. The Fed also noted that the economic outlook remains highly uncertain in the face of the war in Ukraine. And then they went on to cite, because I'm going to read this whole article, they wanted to cite that they're probably going to be raising rates another 6 times this year, because the Fed, they actually get together 8 times per year. And so they don't, historically, not that they couldn't, but historically, at least in modern history, they haven't been making big jumps. It's, these 25 basis point moves in one direction or the other. And they're kind of hitting here, so they don't want to shock the system, it seems, but this little 0.25% I wouldn't expect this to do much of anything. Now, the higher you get, the more you're going to reduce the amount of borrowing. Obviously, as borrowing gets more expensive, you disincentivize that. That means fewer dollars getting out, and that would impact inflation, reduce inflation. But there's just been so much insane money printing, and then you throw that in the mix with everything that's happening here in terms of the monetary policy and basically no interest, basically no interest rates for how long? It's been insane. So not surprised to see this. I don't think people were terribly surprised. And as a result, here's the 24-hour price chart for Bitcoin. It mostly moved sideways. I mean, you could argue it went up like a little bit, and then it's just been kind of teetering back down. So it's a big nothing. It was a big nothing. Some people were like terribly concerned. We were going to see a Bitcoin crater or this or that. And I'm like, why? Why are we going to see that? Because seriously, because what's the theory? That we want to have higher inflation because that's good for Bitcoin. Okay, even if that's your stance, fine, then why would you be fearful of them making a move? Because even if they make a move, what do you think they were going to do? Make interest rates like 10%? That's crazy. It was 25 basis points. That's not exactly... And if the narrative of Bitcoin is that weak, my God. That's why the short term, like these narrative-driven movements, like I don't really put much weight into them, because even when something genuinely, like there really is a narrative that's moving the price, if it doesn't change the overall fundamentals, who gives a damn anyway, right? So people freak out about this stuff. I just don't think it makes sense. But here you can see since the price was a hair up, here's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, a hair up. It's at 27 out of 100. The day before, it was at 24 out of 100. Now take a look at this. Here's the headline from You Today: 100 million XRP purchased by whale as coin consolidates. And by the way, Daily Hodl noticed this too. I'm not going to run through this article. I'm going to run through the You Today one. But here's their headline: Crypto whales suddenly move over 100 million XRP as thousands of Bitcoin as markets bounce. And so in we go. An anonymous XRP wallet received a massive volume of coins worth approximately $74 million as the asset remains in the prolonged consolidation range. According to the transaction page on Whale Alert tracking service, 100 million XRP were wired from the major exchange to an unmarked wallet that currently holds slightly more than 100 million coins. The final destination of funds remains unclear as the wallet constantly redistributes received funds to smaller entities, but at the same time, it is not tied to any other exchange or an over-the-counter trading desk. Since funds have been received directly from an exchange that requires KYC procedures for withdrawing digital assets, the whale's identity is most likely known to the exchange's representatives. And as the wallet activity suggests, it may in fact be owned by large private investors, rather than centralized or decentralized services. The most recent transaction was made on March 7th as the whale moved 1.6 million XRP to the exchange. So it's just worth highlighting as a fun little friendly reminder, as some people panic sell over the stupidest nonsense, and some people get patient so they get out of their position. The larger private investors and the whales behave differently. There's a reason that I've been holding my XRP. I've been holding XRP since November 17th, 2017. There's a reason that I've been doing this and haven't sold any. And I accumulated until the beginning of October 2020. And then I stopped because I realized I have a problem if I don't stop. Like seriously, I need some sort of group support if I couldn't stop at that point. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to make, again, like I said, the broader point that this isn't going away. And again, the market moves in tandem. I can't wait for this to happen. And then all the naysayers out there that didn't get it and didn't see what was so obvious. I mean, we could have a little party where we're just like, suck it, bitches. But I won't actually be like that. Maybe in a playful way, but I won't actually get venomous just because XRP is running. I just joke like that. But the truth of the matter is it's going to be obvious to everyone else in hindsight, but it's obvious to me right now that this is not, although not certain, it's what's probable. Because the market moves in tandem, and I sure as hell don't think that Bitcoin's gonna be, going into oblivion anytime soon. To the contrary, whether you like it or I like it, or we think it makes sense or we don't think it makes sense, the market says it makes sense right now. And adoption of Bitcoin is continuing, and the metrics that have indicated what happens during or after consolidation, more importantly, like these things continue to occur. All the metrics are looking rather fantastic to this point, frankly. In fact, take a look at this article. This is from the Daily Hodl. Bitcoin quietly showing all the right signs while traders sleep on Bitcoin. Crypto analyst Nicholas Merton. And folks, again, even though this is an XRP-centric channel, there's a reason that when I'm making videos where I talk about price, I'm happy to talk a bit about Bitcoin. Bitcoin leads the market. I want Bitcoin to be moving in a healthy fashion because I know what that will mean for my XRP holdings. Rocket through the roof at some point. Piece reads as follows. A popular crypto analyst thinks conditions might soon be ripe for Bitcoin to break out of its stagnant trend. In a new strategy session, Nicholas Merton tells his 512,000 subscribers that Bitcoin's recent lull is nothing new and a normal part of the top crypto asset by market cap's price cycle. Here's a quote from him. The way Bitcoin and the broader market is acting at the moment right now, I've seen it too many times to count. Let me just pause to say, that's what I'm saying. And wait till you see the rest of what he has to say. This is what we could call, reasonably, the calm before the storm, my friends. Here's the rest of his quote. We cans have flushed out those who are kind of trading and speculating in the short term, who are fearful of Bitcoin, the short-term holders. Then the piece reads as follows. The host of DataDash adds that whales tend to make massive purchases that jumpstart the market during the calm that generally follows significant price drops. You listening, folks? Here's another quote. The silence and sideways price action is what follows after you've had major corrections over 50% or more in price. You have silence for a little while, consolidation. And then you have step number 3. In the midst of the silence, out of nowhere, someone is going to come in and buy up big. End quote. And that's why I've said, even though I'm pro Bitcoin and I've held it since November of 2017, it is the third cryptocurrency I ever purchased. It's already had the bulk of its run that it's going to this market cycle. That's my suspicion anyway. I think the real money is to be had in altcoins, including XRP. It's just relative to Bitcoin, there's such a gap that's what's appealing. Again, once the gap is closed and XRP is run, that's when it's less appealing to purchase it. Right? Once everybody agrees, wow, XRP is amazing, it did happen, that's when it's too late. You know, either you have your exposure to this stuff before the big moves, or you don't, which is why I'm not the least bit afraid to hold. And that's not the only reason, there are multiple reasons. But anyway, piece continues. Looking at it from a macro perspective, Merton says that further sell-side pressure in the face of dramatic worldwide news would make sense, but he predicts Bitcoin to remain relatively steady. And here's one final quote. If there is any opportunity for Bitcoin to enter a bear market, right now would be the time, when there is global geopolitical conflict between Russia and Ukraine, when there is massive inflation concerns, all these macro factors. Bitcoin really should be moving lower, at least according to the narrative, but it's not. That's the end of the quote. So what's most likely to happen next? Is it going to be alt season, or is it going to be Bitcoin popping up? Well, I'd say at this point, I still believe in alt season fully, but I think Bitcoin's going to lead the way first. Whether or not that means Bitcoin hits another all-time high this market cycle or not, we'll see. But either way, it's going to have to do something to get the market moving again. That's typically what happens, very frequently happens. I anticipate at some point that's going to happen again. I don't pretend to know exactly when, and thankfully with my strategy it doesn't freaking matter, because all I have to do to achieve life-changing wealth in crypto is precisely nothing. I just sit around and hold, because apparently most humans aren't capable of doing that. It's the easiest damn thing on the planet if you can just control your emotions. Do nothing! You don't even have to build an ecosystem out of it. You don't build out utility having to do with any of these cryptocurrencies. You just sit there and do nothing. It's freaking amazing. It sounds too good to be true. But it's not. The truth is, again, it's actually very difficult for most people. That's the truth. People can't control their damn emotions. I'm pretty damn good at it, though. I sleep easy every single night, regardless of price action.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.